And if you like the video or any other content on the channel, feel free to subscribe. Today's combat patrol is going to be between the Custodes and the Tau. We are doing the Clash of Patrols mission. The mission rule is called Retrieve Intelligence. In each player's command phase, from the second battle round onward, the player whose turn it is can select one objective marker they control and recover data from that objective marker. Each time a player recovers data from the objective marker, if their warlord is on the battlefield or is embarked within a transport that is on the battlefield, they gain 1 CP. Each objective marker can only be selected by this rule once by either player. Then we have Taken Hold as our primary mission, and that is 5 points for each objective for a maximum of 15. The map will be as it is. No, everything has no windows on this one. And for the Tau, we are taking the Sudden Dawn Cadre. So this has a Commander Cloud Spear with 10 Pathfinders, 10 Breachers, and a Devilfish. The enhancement for the Commander is Prototype Systems. It allows to reroll 1 hit, 1 wound, as well as the shots on the Fragmentation Projector, and giving a 4-up invulnerable save. The secondary for this Tau is going to be the Ethereal Edict. The opponent selects one of their units, and if the Tau can destroy that unit by the end of the game, they get 12 secondary points. And for the Custodes today, we're using the Gilded Blade. So this has a Blade Champion and then 3 Custodian Guard with the sword and the boards. And then you can either pick 3 Wardens or 2 Alaris Terminators. I went with the Alaris Terminators. With the enhancement I picked for the Blade Champion, we're going to pick the Watchman of Terra, just so the Blade Champion has an OC of 4. For the secondary, we're going to take Raise the Vexillus. The Raise the Vexillus is from the 3rd battle round onwards. At the end of your turn, you score 3 points if you control the objective marker closest to your opponent's battlefield edge, and you also control the objective closest to your battlefield edge. So let's pretty much control my home objective and control the Tau home objective. The Custodes do get the first turn roll. The Pathfinder scout just up a little bit to stay out of line of sight, but possibly grab the nearest objective or get some shots in the Tau turn 1. Custodes turn 1. I'm going to nominate my Custodian Guard as the Tau's Ethereal Edict. So if Jess and her Tau can kill my Custodian Guard, she will get 12 victory points. Custodes turn 1, not much to do except move up the board. The Custodian Guard used an Escapable Vengeance to add +2 to their advance roll, and then rolled a 1 on their advance, getting a total of a 9-inch movement. They move close to the objective beside the ruins, but not quite on the objective yet. We don't want to take any of the Tau turn 1 firepower. The Custodes want to use the ruins to block the line of sight until later returns for now. The Blade Champion moved up just a little bit, foregoing the objective as well to avoid the incoming Tau firepower. With the Breachers and the Devilfish and the Commander, there would be a lot of shots aimed at that Blade Champion. I finished the Custodes turn with a home objective still under my control with the Combat Patrol, giving all battle line units sticky objectives. No other objectives are under the Custodes control though. Tau turn 1 movement, a turn similar to the Custodes turn 1. The Devilfish full of Breachers moved up to grab the objective near the trees across from the Custodian Blade Champion. The Pathfinders moved back to avoid a charge from the Custodian Guard in turn 2. The Custodes could make the charge, but it would pull them off the objective and out into the open to be shot at from all the Tau. Let the Custodes take the ruins objective and then hit them hard in Tau turn 2. Nothing to be shot at in turn 1. The battle round ends with a score of 0-0. Custodes turn 2. Custodes target their home objective to gain a CP since the Blade Champion Warlord is still on the table. Custodes control 1 objective for 5 points, taking the score to 5-0 for the Custodes. I decide to push the Custodian Guard into the ruins to grab that objective, knowing Jess will shoot everything she has into my Custodian Guard. The Blade Champion once again stayed where he was, not wanting to risk all that Tau shooting. I did decide to deep strike the 2 Alaris down on the ruin side of the map. I was thinking of dropping them to help hold my home objective. I did decide in the end to help support the Custodian Guard to try to take as many Pathfinders to reduce the amount of Tau turn 2 shooting coming my way. The Custodes turn 2 shooting, we did manage to kill 8 Pathfinders. It's a shame I wasn't able to wipe the whole unit. The turn does end with a score of 5-0 for the Custodes. Tau turn 2. Jess does gain 5 points for each objective that she controls, bringing the score up to 10-5 for the Tau Empire. She did decide to nominate her home objective to gain that extra CP since her Warlord Commander Cloud Spear was still on the table. And for the Tau turn 2 movement, the Pathfinders with an advance roll of 2 are able to just squeeze, allowing Commander Cloudspear to move up onto that tree line objective. She advanced the Devilfish with a 5 to try and block my Custodes' countercharge, or at least make them harder to get at those breachers who have disembarked behind the Devilfish to get shots onto my Custodian Guard. Sadly, with advancing those 2 units, they will not be able to spot or shoot, but to make up for it, the Tau have used the Rampart of Fire stratagem to give the breachers an extra AP on their ranged attacks. Jess is going to shoot her breachers into my Custodian Guard. They will be hitting on 3s, wounding on 4s. Then I will have a 3-up save on my Custodian Guard. The commander shooting into the Custodian Guard as well only rolled a 1 on the fragmentation projector, even with the reroll. She rolled a 1, decided not to do the reroll, save that for the plasma. Hit on a 3 for a plasma, and then wounding on 3s, and I do make the save. The Tau turn 2 shooting phase was not the best, not even managing to kill a single model. They were really hoping to weaken the Custodes in this round to make the incoming charges less painful. The Tau have fantastic board control with 3 objectives controlled. The following Custodes turn 3 is going to hurt with a lot of the Tau army now in charge range. Battle round 2 ends with the score of 10-5 for Jess and the Tau. For the start of Custodes turn 3, I do gain 5 points for the 1 objective I control in the ruins. I did also nominate that objective to gain the extra CP since the Blade Champion is still alive for now. The Custodes turn 3 movement, the Custodian Guard moved towards the Tau home objective. I will need my home objective back to start gaining that secondary points from Raise the Vexillus. The Alaris move out to get some shots in a possible charge into the Devilfish. They do eat a Breacher's Overwatch for their trouble, but as seen, the Tau Overwatch went terribly with 0 damage done. For the shooting phase, I was able to wipe out the Pathfinders and take out 4 Breachers. Now for our charge phase, we're going to charge the Alaris into the Devilfish with a 12, and the Blade Champion will charge into the Cloudspear Commander with an 8. Our fight phase, we're going to pick the Dakatari stance for sustained 1. Here are the 10 spear attacks from the Terminators hitting on 2s. Now wounding on 5s, AP 2, damage 2. The Blade Champion will pick the AP 3, damage 3, devastating wounds on 6's profile. The commander does get a 4+ invulnerable save. The Blade Champion does 3 devastating wounds to the commander, and with rerolls, saves the other attack. No damage done back from Tau combat. Custodes end the turn with a score of 10-10. At the start of turn 3, Jess will score 5 points on the primary for that forest objective she have, bringing the Tau Empire ahead once again with a score of 15-10. Jess did spend 1 CP on Fight by the Code to allow the Devilfish to fall back and still be able to do some things. The Breachers move back to get shots onto the Alaris and hopefully get another turn of Overwatch and make the charge a bit harder. The Alaris did Overwatch, doing 0 damage for their troubles. Overwatch has not been that helpful for either army this game. As we've seen, the dice have gone quite cold for the Tau this game. With all the available shooting, Jess was only able to take an Alaris down to 1 remaining wound. This is where the plan to fall back the Devilfish instead of the commander was going to pay off, with the Devilfish charging into the Blade Champion, followed by a Tank Shock. The Tank Shock does shock for 4 damage, bringing the Custodian Warlord down to 2 wounds. Sadly, the Devilfish was not able to kill the Blade Champion in the fight phase, allowing the Blade Champion to activate first in the ongoing combat, killing the Tau Warlord Commander Cloudspear. The turn does end with the Tau still ahead, but for how much longer, we're not sure. The shooting has not gone well for the Tau, and the Demigods in Gold are closing in. Custodes, turn 4. I score pretty big on the primary, getting 10 points with those 2 objectives I control, bringing the score up to 20-15 for the Custodes. My movement, a quick movement phase, the Custodian Guard sticking the Tau home, allowing them to push forward towards the Devilfish and the objective. The Alaris move closer to the Breachers, eating an Overwatch, but yet again, Jess's roll still ice cold with the Custodes rolling quite hot. Jess does use lies before territory on the Breachers, allowing them to move d6 inches, and with a roll of 5, the Breachers move back to avoid the upcoming Alaris charge. For the shooting phase, nothing to shoot at, onto the charges. With a 6 on both charge rolls, it will get the Alarus into the Breachers and the Custodian Guard into the Devilfish. In the fight phase, the Alarus were able to take out 5 Breachers. Between the Custodian Guard and the Blade Champion, the Devilfish was cut down without a Firewall explosion. Custodes do gain 3 points at the end of the turn for holding their home objective and the Tau home objective, taking the score up to 23 to 15. Tau turn 4, not much happened, and with the writing on the walls, we finished out the game off camera, and with an end score of 51 to 25 with paint, the Custodes win the first combat patrol of the channel. I had a lot of fun playing on the smaller scale and showing just how to play some. She found it much easier to understand than the more complicated 1K to 2K games. There's still some room for tactical play in the combat patrol, which is something I'm looking for. Not just this patrol is better than that one, so they automatically win. Jess, I was able to talk her into playing. She just doesn't want to be on mic. That's why I'm trying this new format. I hope you enjoyed the new format where I'm kind of narrating a little bit for the combat patrol. I might use this format for some of the quicker recap games as well. We still will be having our larger 2K games where we have the dice rolls and a little more discussion while we're playing. Thanks to the wife, it was a blast. The next combat patrol, I think I'll face off against the Custodes just to see it from the other side. And like I always say, thanks for watching, thanks for stopping by.